The blizzard of January 22nd and 23rd, 2016 holds the record for the biggest snowstorm ever to hit New York City's Central Park, and it also holds that distinction at many other reporting stations around the 5 boroughs. A total of 27.5 inches was officially recorded in Central Park, beating out the previous record of 26.9 inches set during the blizzard of February 11th and 12th, 2006. Parts of Queens, New York, where I live, reported totals over 30 inches. For someone who's been documenting storms since the 1980s, this was a very exciting storm for me, as unlike many storms I've documented, this one was coming right to my front doorstep. On Friday, January 22, 2016, a low-pressure system developed across the southeast states and rapidly deepened as it tracked along the middle Atlantic coast on January 23rd. Blizzard conditions were observed throughout New York City, Long Island, and portions of northeast New Jersey and southwest Connecticut. Check out these blizzard observation maps from around the New York City metro. At Central Park, blizzard conditions began around 6:30 that morning, and they didn't let up until after 1 p.m., 7 hours later. And at LaGuardia Airport, which is close to where I live here in Queens, blizzard conditions began around 7 a.m. and only briefly let up around 2 p.m. that afternoon, only to ramp up again 90 minutes later through 7 p.m. that night. Even at Central Park, we're kind of splitting hairs here, as you can see that it was mainly that dip in the winds between 1:30 and 2 p.m. that brought that location out of official blizzard conditions. But they strengthened again pretty quickly and then danced around that 35-mile-an-hour threshold for a few more hours. So in reality, New York City proper was in full-on blizzard or near blizzard conditions from dawn to dusk on the 23rd. I chased this blizzard with Dave Lewison and Stephen Barabas, and we departed Queens, New York on the evening of the 22nd and set up at a Holiday Inn Express in Neptune, New Jersey, just before the snow began to fall. On the morning of the 23rd, intense snow and wind were already ongoing pre-dawn, and it only got crazier from there. We saw several motorists stuck in the snow, but there was no shortage of good Samaritans out there that were willing to give a helping hand. After doing some filming in and around Neptune, we decided to head towards the coast, and our first stop was Belmar, where strong winds were creating huge waves and rough surf. At first, I wasn't sure what this family was trying to do, but I think they were attempting to get the winds to carry them down the road on their sleds.
What? I don't care, go ahead.
What's that?
Run up the bed?
After spending a good bit of time in Belmar, we decided to head up the coast a little bit towards Laurence Harbor. When it comes to chasing storms, at least for me, it's not just about the storms. It's also about the people that you're chasing with. And when it comes to Dave and Steve, you know you're going to have a good time. There's going to be a ton of laughs, a lot of comic relief, and that just kind of cuts through the whole stress of the whole thing. It just makes it so much more enjoyable. So with that said, here's a bit of Steve, basically being Steve.
First blizzard of the year, it's outrageous. Look at all this snow right here. We got 40 miles sustained winds right now, blowing and drifting all this snow into huge mounds. You will not believe the kind of chaos that's going to ensue in New Jersey. Oh my God! Blizzard!
This was another scene that would repeat itself over the coming hours. Pedestrians forced to walk in the middle of the street as the sidewalks by this point were completely impassable for most. Around 1 p.m., we decided to head back towards Manhattan after we got word that the National Weather Service upped their snowfall totals for New York City to 24 to 30 inches. But to get there, we first had to navigate some truly awful road conditions on the New Jersey Turnpike.
We are halfway to exit 16E on the Jersey Turnpike.
This is what the Jersey Turnpike looks like right now.
It is empty and bad.
Empty and bad.
And it looks now like NWS in New York has updated their snowfall totals to 24 to 30 inches, which would put that in either the #1 category for biggest snowstorm in New York City or in the top 3 for sure if that happens. So 26.9 inches is the record. So if we beat 26.9, that'll be #1. This kind of is overachieving in the New York City area, so we're heading there now.
Steve's doing a bang-up driving.
He is. Yeah. Trying to stay in the tread. It pulls you all over the damn road.
Hopefully it's not an actual bang-up job.
No, yeah. The plows haven't been here in a while.
Yeah, it's Jersey Turnpike. I thought would have been a little bit better, but the
This
plan
is
is
Jersey.
now to go into Manhattan because this snow is still falling pretty heavily.
Yep.
And we'll go shoot from there. I've been in New Jersey all day, and now we're going to Manhattan. In a busy day. Yeah, it's only what, 1:30?
1:30.
After finally arriving in Manhattan via the Lincoln Tunnel, our first stop was Lexington Avenue and East 36th Street.
Like wet. Sticking over.
After filming in Midtown for a while, we decided to head back towards the west side of Manhattan, where we expected the stronger winds to be. We scouted a few locations between 10th Avenue and 12th Avenue and decided to set up at 10th Avenue and West 37th Street. The Hudson River was just to our west, and the winds at that location were pretty intense, and they were being enhanced even more by the tall buildings. One thing that I love about filming blizzards in Manhattan is there's no shortage of snownados being whipped up at the street corners, as you'll see coming up. The winds were absolutely screaming at this location, and they only got more intense as the minutes wore on. We definitely picked the right spot on the west side for sure. Dave, Steve, and I filmed on the west side of Manhattan until around 3:30 or so, and then decided to head back to my place here in Queens. This would be no easy feat, as the roads both in Manhattan and in Queens were a total mess. But before we could even attempt the drive back, Steve first had to get his Xterra out of the BP gas station on 10th Avenue as a city snowplow blocked us in. This ended up being a non-issue, as you'll see. I was so impressed with the later Xterra Pro 4X models that when my 2004 gave up the ghost a year later, I ended up buying a 2013 Pro 4X myself.
Here we go. Empty Long Island Expressway. Literally, there's nobody on it. What time is it? 3:45.
Right around rush hour.
Yep. And there's nobody on the LIE. We just came through the Midtown Tunnel. We were the only car in the Midtown Tunnel. And we are heading back to my house, and with luck we'll be back there by 4:15, 4:30, where we can dump off some video and then head over to eat at the Woodhaven House.
The Woodhaven House, as great of a place as that was to eat at, yeah, that was gonna have to wait. When we got back to my place in Queens, we were still in full-on blizzard conditions, so we decided to continue shooting video in my neighborhood until nightfall. It turned out the Woodhaven House was closed anyways because of the storm, which, while disappointing, was completely understandable. As we got later into the evening, all you heard was the falling snow. The neighborhood was super quiet as there were hardly any cars on the road by this point. After grabbing a few more parting shots, we headed back to my place and got a much-deserved good night's sleep. The next morning, we walked around the neighborhood and filmed the big dig out.
Oh, this thing pulls out too, like the other one.
It's alright.
That battery I had yesterday lasted. This thing has a tendency to suck more juice, but it lasted all day.
In the days after the blizzard, the official snowfall total in Central Park was 26.8 inches, just shy of the all-time record. But a few months later, it was determined that a communication error between the Weather Forecast Office in Upton, New York, and the Central Park Conservancy, which volunteers to take official snow measurements in Central Park, led to an inaccurate preliminary total of 26.8 inches. The snow team found the mistake when reviewing the Conservancy's logbook, and the official total was then adjusted upwards to the new all-time snowfall record in the park of 27.5 inches. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please do like and subscribe, as I'll be posting more longer form videos covering many other pivotal New York City weather events over the coming weeks and months. Thanks for watching.